Good morning, here's Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Thursday the 14th of February, the day after that CPI numbers rattled the stock market in the US. And what a sell-off we saw yesterday in S&P 500, almost 1.4% down, gapping lower. So we have this, it's a top and reversal-like pattern with this little shooting star-like candle up here. However, 48, 45 is the key support, and we also have this rising trend line we are still holding up. But there is, as we talked about the past few days, divergence on the RSI. And if it breaks back below this rising trend line here and below 60, we could see a pressure towards this support level here. If S&P 500 can close the gap, well, then there is further upside to be seen. But let's see about that. We are only slightly up pre-market. The Nasdaq 100 closed more or less bang on the lower rising trend line here, also gapping a little bit lower. Some buyers came in at the end, as we can see here. But also the same picture here. We have the RSI really showing divergence, indicating that this uptrend here was a little bit stretched and it is exhausting. But let's see. Key support 17,128, and we also have at 6,963. On the European side, not really much was going on. I mean, in the EUROSTOXX 50, of course, yesterday, massive sell-off, but we are bouncing a little bit this morning. So we are finding some support here at 46.75, bouncing a little bit. But also here we can see that the divergence, there was that divergence on the RSI indicating an exhaustion of the uptrend. So we could see a move down to around 46.20 support area in coming days. It is, let's see, close at 47.60. 46 open at, so we actually do have a bearish engulfing here. That is a top reversal. We should see further setback on EUROSTOXX. DAX still holding up above 16,821. That is the support level to look out for. It's not the strongest one, but if we do close below, and I actually think we will see it being tested. And also here we have some divergence on the RSI. So this 17,000 couldn't really follow through. We could see a move down to 16,500, possibly down a little bit lower to around 350 level. The Amsterdam index, what a volatile day yesterday, but we stayed above this gap here, and I actually think it will call it an exhausting gap. So we had a runaway, a little bit of a continuation, not really so convincing, but this is maybe just a continuation. So it's a little bit up in there what it is at the moment, but a gap nonetheless. If we do close that gap, or if AX is closing this gap by a close below 831, well, then we will see a larger correction. But for now, it's still holding up above the upper part of the gap, and that's the level to look out for. We are bouncing a little bit this morning. Belgian market sell-off yesterday, opening lower, but now moving back above the upper falling trend line. We are still in a positive sentiment, so should move a little bit higher, and I think we will see a recovery on the Belgian market. CAC 40 really still in this range here between 7,700 and 75.50 level, and that's the range it needs to take out, and then it needs to close this gap area here. For downside potential. A break above it, then we are looking at higher levels towards 8,000. Finally, on the SMI, sideways, seems can't really get its mojo back together after bouncing from 11,057. If it does close below that level, and we have the RSI closing below 40, then we could see a sell-off down below 10,900. But key strong resistance 11,334. A lot of action also on the FX market. Euro-dollar sell-off below 107.23 support area, below the 61.8 retracement. Some support at 106.60. I think we will see a test of that fairly shortly. Then we can see a bounce. But we are in a downtrend, as you can see. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So we are in a downtrend. RSI negative sentiment indicating lower levels. So 106.60, I think it's in the cards. Possibly dipping down to the 786 retracement at 106 down here. I think we'll see that in coming weeks. Cable back below the 126.10, and I think we'll see a test up to 125 support, where we also have the 100 moving average coming up, giving some support there. But we are negative sentiment, so we should see a move below that level. We have the dollar yen spiking higher yesterday, really propelling through the 149.75 resistance. There's now room up to 152 area, which is the 2022 peak, and I think we will reach that in fairly shortly. Euro yen, on the other hand, struggling a little bit. I mean, it is breaking higher above the 161 resistance. Next, it's at 161.90, a little bit of a resistance there, but there should be potential up to 163, 164 level up here, previous peak, and also the 161.8 projection. Aussie yen doing not much, still 97.80 is the key resistance. Sterling yen moved higher, breaking above resistance, testing a little bit from the other side, and it is fair to say we can remove this one, so cleaning up a little bit. It's good to do that sometimes in your charts. We are in a bullish trend. We are in a bullish sentiment. There should be potential to 191, possibly higher towards 192 here in coming weeks. Dollar Canada closed above the upper part of the range here at 135.45, testing up from the other side, but we are now in a bullish sentiment. We actually have been that in a positive sentiment for quite some time. We should see a move towards 136.25, possibly moving higher in coming weeks towards 137.45. What we can also see is we are back above the cloud, so we are in a bullish mode really there. Aussie dollar continuing lower. 64 key support is likely to be tested here in coming weeks. It is not that convincing, but still we have lower lows and lower highs, so we are in a downtrend. Also negative sentiment on the RSI. Dollar Swiss took out 88.20, that was the target we talked about for quite some time, but I actually went straight through this target and resistance, very close to testing 89, which is the 618 retracement. I could see in coming weeks we could see a move towards a 90.5, which is the 786 retracement, and also if we do a little bit of a horizon, this is quite interesting right around there. They could also be a little bit around these levels. So this is a very strong resistance area around 90.5 to 91. Finally, on the dollar index, broken above 104.44. We talked about 104.27 lately, but it is the 61.8 retracement. We should see there's potential up to around 105.5, 105.80, but there's some resistance, 786 retracement on the dollar index. Gold broke below 2,000 yesterday, following through a little bit today, but the 100 moving average is giving some support. 786 retracement, and these lows over here give us some support around 1974. It is not the strongest one, and if it takes it out, well, then there's potential down to 1930 level. We are in a negative sentiment on the RSI, so the divergence here is gone. But now we are in negative sentiment, and we could see further sell-off in gold in coming weeks. Of course, with some corrections, and the 200 moving average will also add a little bit of support on the downside. Silver, very close to testing 21.90 support. You can see tested there, and dip down there. So that seems to be a very key area. We could bounce a little bit, but if it does break below, well, then there could be a sell-off down to around 20.5. We're skipping copper today because not really much was going on. On the energy side, we have the WTI. Let's see here, WTI. Come on, let's update. Ticking a little bit higher around the 100 and 200 moving average locked in, but we are in a positive sentiment back above 60. There should be we could see a move up to around the 79, 70, around this level here, 79, 29, 79, 77 on the WTI, some strong resistance area here, but it seems like we are moving above the cloud. It's not the most convincing one, but still we are in a positive sentiment, so we could see higher WTI levels. Also Brent back above 60, back above the cloud, 84, 75 key strong resistant level. And finally, this is what it's all about. CBI numbers pushed treasury yields higher, took out the 420. Now we have a double bottom confirmed, so we can remove this question mark. We actually also took out the 429 minor resistance testing from the other side, and the 100 moving average giving a little bit of a resistance, but there should be potential for 38 and possibly up to around 450 in this kind of consolidation area here could be seen. We also have the 161.8 projection of the double bottom at 444. So in coming weeks we could see US 10-year yields moving to that level. And very quickly, just look at the future. Took out support at 110, some support here at 109.8, which is not unlikely to be tested in coming days or weeks possibly, but expect a little bit of correction. We'll try to get back above 110, but I think also supported by the negative sentiment on the RSI, we are in a bearish mode. That's all for today, a long one today. There will be some more in-depth updates on most of the FX pair we talked about, and also on gold a little bit later in writing. Have a nice day and happy trading.